Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be making a little recipe mini album. And this mini album was inspired by Rosa Kelly. If you haven't gone over to check out her channel, go over and do so. She is very talented. So like I said, we're going to be making a recipe book. And let me show you what we're going to be using. We're going to be using the Farmer's Market Open Daily paper stock. And this is beautiful paper line, and so I'm excited to work with that. Then we're going to need some chipboard and some paper. And I've decided to put this on the, this stuff. And you're going to need a ruler. You're going to need some double-sided tape, a score thingy, and a bone folder. And then some scissors. So today I thought we would just get started by wrapping our chipboard up and laying it out and going from there. So we'll see how far we get before I have to go. So I'm going to let this over here. We're going to put our chipboard over here. Now our chipboard is 9 by 6.5, and then our spine is 9 by 1.5. So I'm just going to glue these two together so we can lay this all out. So let me just, I don't know if I can need 2 or 3. Let's try it with 2 and see. And I am actually going to use some tape, and I am just going to put these two together and just go down to the very edge of it. Okay. And then just make sure we press it down really well to get the air bubbles out. And then just lay this down together. And it really doesn't matter if it's too perfect or not, because this is going to be covered up, of course. So let's lay this out. I think we can get it all on here. Yeah. So we just want to leave about 1 inch on each side. So I'm just going to put that there. And that way I don't have to cut so much paper up, and lay that down. Now I'm going to lay my spine on the middle part where that is covered up at. And I am using my good old Fabri-Tac, just because I'm out of art glitter glue. Otherwise I would be using art glitter glue on this part, but I am out, and so you use what you got, if you'll ever come out. There we go. I just had to get it started good. Okay. And the one thing I do like using, I like about using Fabri-Tac is that it dries and it doesn't wet your paper. So, and it sticks very well. So then we're going to glue the next piece down. And you could use double-sided tape on this as well. So what I do is line the bottom up, and we're just going to leave about 1/8 of an inch between the base of the spine and the actual piece over here. You want to make sure that you leave room so that when you fold your album up, it'll fold. going to do the same thing on this. And we're going to line it up at the bottom. Make sure it's even. And we're going to leave about 1/8 of an inch in between there. The difference about using Fabri-Tac, it takes a little longer to dry, but it also gives you longer wiggle room to get things right. Okay. And when you're pressing down, make sure you're not sliding it, or it will get out of line, just like I did right there. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is to bring up our sides. And you're just going to kind of pre-bend it a little bit so it doesn't crack on you, because you don't want it to crack. And I like to go around the side and press on the bottom part of it. Okay. And I like to do this for all 4 sides. Just kind of press it down with a bone folder. Just kind of work with it a little bit. You're just breaking up the fibers in the paper, and that makes it a little bit easier to fold when you get your adhesive on it. Okay, now that we got it all folded up, we're going to put our adhesive on there. But before we do that, where we have it folded, you can see these little pieces right here, like your little rectangle. I'm going to be cutting some of that rectangle off. And I'm going to leave about 1/8 of an inch on here. Okay, so we're just going to cut like that. And we're going to do that on all 4 corners. That takes the bulk out, and it gives us a really nice folding edge. Okay. And then I'm going to put some tape down here. I'm going to run it along the edge. I forgot to bring my little scoring block that I tear my tape with, but that's okay. And then I'm going to run this along the edge here. And I'm going to put just a little bit of glue down here at the bottom. Okay, then we're going to take that off. And then we're going to start folding in the middle. That's the best part to fold, in the middle, and then go to your outside. Just like that. And then take your scoring tool and go along and score it. Okay? And then I take mine on the edge like this, and it gives it a nice little book edge. Okay? And I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Okay, and then we're just going to fold it up from the bottom in the middle and work our ways out to the edges. And then take our bone folder and do this. Now on these, the ends here, what you're going to do is take your little bone folder and bring in the edges like this. You want to tuck those little sharp edges in so that they don't, you have a nice smooth edge when you turn it around. So I'm just going to do the same thing to each one of these. Let me go ahead and tuck my edges in. Okay, and I'm just going to run the tape and get it taped up, and then we'll be back. Okay, so now we're all glued in. So what we're going to do is take a ruler and our bone folder or a scoring tool, and I'm just going to go in those lines where we put our glue. Just going to work that paper a little bit so that we can get it folded up. And we're actually going to do this again in a minute when we put paper on the edge of it. But we're not ready to do that yet. Okay. All right. Then I'm just going to take my ruler and put it here. Let's put it on the flat side. And bend up. And this is really going to keep our paper from cracking. We don't want our paper to crack on the edges and stuff. So there we go. So we have the outside of our recipe book. All right, so then we're going to take a piece of paper and we're going to cut it at 8 and, whoops, not the right one. That's my chipboard cutter. We're going to cut it at 8 3/4 by 4. Let's just get this out here. I'm just trying to cover up that, you know. So we're going to cut this at 8 3/4 by 4. Okay. We're going to bring this back. And I'm going to put a little glue on the edge of it right here. But I'm also going to put glue right here too. Just in case, you know. Because we want it to stay on. And we're just going to come down and center that in the middle. All right. Wipe off the excess glue because I put way too much on there, but you know, it's okay. All right. Now we're going to find our little scoring lines where our little holes are. Let's get the big end. And we're going to do that again. We just want to make sure that our paper is going to, our book spine is going to bend. Okay, and then take our ruler and bend up like that, and our ruler bend up like that. Okay, there. So now our cover is done until we cover it. Now we're going to build the base pages off of this, and we're going to cut 4 pieces of paper at, let's see, where's my notes? There it is. We're going to cut 4 pieces of paper at 7 1/4 by 3 1/2. That's what we're going to do. So we need 4 of these at 7 1/4 by 4 1/2. So let's do 7 1/4 by 4 1/2. And make sure you save your scraps because you definitely can use them again during this little process here. So that's one. Okay, so there we have our first papers cut. Like I said, we cut 4 at 7.5 by 3. Goodness gracious, I lost my notes again. We cut 4 at 7.25 by 3.5, and then we're going to cut 1 at 7.25 by 4 3/4. So then we're going to take them, and I don't have my big scoreboard in here. I'm at my dining room table, and we're going to score them at 1/2 inch all the way around. So all I'm going to do is use my scoreboard, and I'm going to score them at 1/2 inch all the way around on 3 sides. And that's all I'm going to do to every single one of these. Okay, so we have all our little pockets done. And we're going to cut the corners out of them so they fold neater. I'm going to do that on all of them. And our big one. Oh, there's one right there. And our big one. Okay. Then we're going to bring this back in, and then we're going to fold all our score lines and give them a burnish. Cut this one just a little bit more. Get that angle out of there. Okay. We're going to do that to all of them. And then I think this is going to be the last thing we're going to do today. And we'll pick up with this little series the next time. I want to see if we have time to do our little pockets. They're going to go on the inside cover of our book. Okay, so we're actually going to start at the top of our book, and I'm going to grab my ruler, if I can find out what I did with it through all this paper and mess. Oh my goodness, there it is. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start down here, and we're going to start at the top. And we're going to come down, 1 3/4 inches on our book. And I'm just going to put a little dot there, if I can get my ruler to stop wiggling. So 1 3/4, which is right there. I'm just going to put a dot, and then I'm going to come over to this side. 1 3/4 of an inch and put a dot. And I'm not making it very noticeable. And then we're going to put this little thing right here. We're going to make sure we're centered. And to do that, I'm going to stick a piece of paper in it to see if it fits. Okay, so I'm going to line this up, and this is a 4x6 card, and that's where that'll lay. So that fits right there. So we're going to put this on our little dot there. we're just going to add some glue to all 3 sides. And then we're going to line that up with our dot. Try to make it even as possible. And then we're just going to press it down. Okay, now the next pocket, we're going to come down about 1 inch. And we're going to fold that one down. Making sure this is still good here. Okay, so we're going to come down here about 1 inch. And if you want to, you can go ahead and use your ruler just to make sure. I'm going to do mine on the edge so I don't get it on the paper. So we're just going to come down about 1 inch there. I'll put me a little unnoticeable dot there. Good. I was not paying attention when I cut these corners, was I? Okay. There we go. And just put a little glue on those. And what I like about, like I said, Fabri-Tac, is just it dries and doesn't make everything wet. Okay, so I'm going to line that up with my little dot there. Making sure I have it even. And we're going to put this one down. Okay. And make sure I got the sides even so they all line up. And then take our bone folder and rub over it so that it all flushes out there. Like I said, this gives me a little bit more wiggle room than art glitter glue does sometimes. And I know I shouldn't stick it in there before it dries, but you know, we're going to see. And see, it doesn't go all the way down to the bottom, so that'll be good. Yeah, let's put it on there and hold it down. I am very impatient. Okay, and then we're going to do the next ones. Same thing, we're just going to fold it up, put some glue on it, and we're going to go down about 1 inch. That's all you wanted, is about 1 inch. We're going to put some glue on here. And I think I'm just going to eyeball it. Okay, let's see, there's the 1 inch. Okay. And that is about 1 inch down, I think. Let's see. Yep. Whoops, let's slide it back over though. So you can get these things out of line really quick if you're not careful with using this glue, but that's okay. It'll be all right. And then I think I had another one on here. I was going to put 3 on here. But I don't know. I mean, 4 and then a big one. But I think I'm not going to use that one. I'll save that pocket from somewhere else. Now I'm going to put the big pocket on. And we're going to line it up with the bottom edge over our paper. This paper right here was. We'll be put in the middle so it can give about 1/8 of an inch from the bottom, actual bottom itself. Okay? So let's put our glue on it. And then we're going to line that up. with the bottom, and it should line up perfectly with the other edges. Let's see. And it does. All right. I'm going to hold that in place and use my bone folder to make sure. Whoopsie. Slid. And brush that down like that. There we go.